Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about leveraging ArcGIS for management and protection of lands. And we're here with Esri. My name is Katie Kolcusky, and I'm a solution engineer on our national government team. And I'm here with John, who is our an associate consultant at Esri. And I'm also here with Anne, who is an account manager at Esri. So we'll be presenting on this topic. So today we're going to do an overview of GIS and ArcGIS, and then I'll dive a little deeper into ArcGIS Pro and WebGIS, and then John will speak to you on why you should use GIS and tell us about his land records viewer and demonstrate its capabilities. And then Anne will discuss the geospatial strategy and provide an overview of the DOI's enterprise agreement. And at the end, we'll be happy to answer any questions you all might have. So now, I know there might be varying levels of experience or awareness of what GIS is, and I just want to start off by going over a quick definition and some core components of what it is and what you can do with it. To put it simply, GIS is Geographic Information System, and it's a system that creates, manages, analyzes, and maps all types of data. It connects data to a map and integrates location data, where things are, with types of description information, so what things are like there. And this provides a foundation for mapping and analysis that can be used in almost every industry. So GIS helps users understand patterns, relationship, and geographic context, and these benefits include improved communication, efficiency, as well as better management and decision making. GIS really has the power to truly interconnect and integrate on multiple levels in order to help you see the relationship and information that you otherwise might have missed. There's multiple components that make up this well-rounded and sort of like end-to-end GIS system. So personally, I like to think of it in 4 different components. The first and most essential component of GIS is the data. With GIS, this is foundational and supports all of your work. But data can be gathered in a variety of different ways, whether it's created in the field or manually at the office. You can even integrate and pull data from other sources to create this foundation. And then once we have all that data and that foundation set, we want to bring that data to life and start using it. To do that, we want to begin visualizing that data, but not just its location, but its also associated attribution and descriptive information. And then once we have a good understanding of our data, we can expand our thinking into a bit of real-time information, so how our data is affecting us and how we can get connected with our critical systems so we're always up to date. With that connection, we want to be able to easily and quickly understand that information and visualize it in the best way. But with GIS, we can take that even further because it moves beyond that and it looks at your current state and how you can use that to analyze how data is affected in the past, and then look to model and predict future states you might have. So we want to be able to simulate future scenarios so we can begin planning ahead of time and make the best and most informed decisions as possible. Once we've done all this work, we don't want to necessarily keep it to ourselves. So GIS data and results are most impactful when you're able to share and collaborate with others in your community and stakeholders to make the best decisions. So we want to be able to share any components of this work through desktop and mobile devices, with both internal or external, whichever makes sense for your work. And through this collaboration, we're not only able to provide details and holistic data, but we're also to get insights from your community to enhance your systems even further. So now that we have a good understanding of what GIS is and what we can do, let's talk about what ArcGIS is and how that fits into the picture. So ArcGIS is a comprehensive geospatial system. It's a foundational suite of software that enables you with the power of GIS and gives you the tools to be successful. And this system is huge and made up of multiple components and technologies. But the first, I think, that's most foundational to this is the desktop capabilities. So if you're familiar with ArcMap, this is what used to be included, but I really want to highlight ArcGIS Pro because ArcMap is being retired in the near future. And this is what powers your desktop-based GIS. It provides robust data design and management capabilities, mapping, and analysis. And I really like to think of this is where your data and mapping starts out. And with Pro, you're able to, you need to have a laptop that's able to have a desktop environment powerful enough to run this software. But with WebGIS, you don't necessarily need that, so it's a great option as well. And WebGIS is the key of getting that data also into your web environment. And this allows you to share it across your organization or to the public, like I mentioned earlier. And it enables you with additional capabilities, such as building out web maps and a variety of different applications to share that data. And the components that enable you with these capabilities are ArcGIS Enterprise and ArcGIS Online. With Enterprise, this is a system that you manage and maintain yourself. So you're responsible for standing it up and supporting that infrastructure to have this environment and run it as a software. So ArcGIS Online is a good option for a cloud environment that's managed by Esri, so you don't have to worry about the infrastructure management and maintenance. I also want to highlight this a little separately because I know some tribes utilize this, but there's also expanded drone capabilities as well. And we have a couple applications that allow for flight planning and processing as well. And finally, there's a whole suite of developer capabilities across the entire system. So if you have web developers at your organization and really want to dive in and extend those capabilities, you can do it through this. But now I want to dive a little bit deeper into one of those key components in the ArcGIS system, which is ArcGIS Pro. And this is our main desktop application. And it provides capabilities for that mapping, advanced analytics, and data management. And here you can work with a variety of different data and share it out through other parts in your ArcGIS system, such as the WebGIS from Pro. And with Pro's capabilities of data design and management, you discover the foundational data you're interested in working with, and you can establish this with what you want to investigate, track, monitor, or analyze. And this data can be yours or your organization's that you've created, or it can be data from any other source that you find and you want to pull in and use it. So whatever the data is, Pro provides capabilities for you to organize it and manage it to best use that data. And once you have that data, using ArcGIS Pro, you can visualize it and gain a further understanding of that data. Whether it's through patterns or spatial distribution and relationships, you're able to better understand that data to make better decisions for your future. The analysis capabilities in ArcGIS Pro enable you to dig deeper into your data, and whether that's finding like proximity of wildfires to your cultural resources or analyzing imagery for suitable locations for crops, the analysis capabilities allow you to do this manually or script it out and automate these workflows to best fit your needs and uses. So when you're doing all this data design, creating these visuals and running these analyses, you don't have to do this all alone on an island by yourself. You can leverage ArcGIS Pro's sharing capabilities and collaborate with others within your organization to share this information out and work together to get solutions and results. And this can be done using ArcGIS Online or Enterprise by powering it through Pro. And having a sole desktop-based GIS is great for data setup and all the other awesome things we talked about. But once you start having additional requirements and wanting to share that out, moving to WebGIS is the best way to go about that. With ArcGIS Enterprise and ArcGIS Online, your organization is enabled with that WebGIS capability. And you can share data, maps, and apps all throughout that system, and even create those items. So with both of these, all of your data can be shared into specific groups of people to make sure it's protected still, and you can share within your organization or out to the public as well, depending on what you'd like to do. With the WebGIS system, it's really what powers your web-based mapping and visualization. It also is the backbone for running any suite of applications you'd like to use, and is tightly integrated with ArcGIS Pro, so they kind of communicate back and forth when you need to. And the collaboration piece is super important, and there's flexibility within that, so you can make sure you tailor it to your needs and share your work anywhere at any time. And now I want to dive deeper into that a little bit with WebGIS. So it's that comprehensive cloud-based mapping platform that allows you to make and share those apps easily. And we can take a step back and look at it from a high level to kind of understand what this workflow is like. With both ArcGIS Online, you are doing it securely by creating, organizing, and manage all your geographic information. It's stored and located in the cloud. And if you do enterprise, like, you have access to that infrastructure, so you're able to connect it to several different database systems that you may have for allow back and forth communication with that. With ArcGIS Online, depending on how you configure this environment, you're able to leverage ready-to-use data from multiple authoritative resources, such as Living Atlas. And you're also able to use that authoritative content and your own content to build engaging and interactive information products, such as dashboards, hubs, experience builder sites, and more. And then you're able to leverage your system to be able to collaborate and share information with stakeholders. And like I said, you can do it internal or external. So this can be done in ArcGIS Online, which is Esri specific ones. So you don't have to worry about the back end stuff. But you can have enterprise where you have that firewall that's set up even further, where you're able to have control of that and have that system behind there to make sure your data is very protected. So there's many field applications that are on ArcGIS Online or WebGIS in general that can get you started on the ability to take these workflows and make them mobile. So after you've kind of set up that system, field apps are able to use the power of location to improve coordination and operational efficiency in your field workforce activities. So ArcGIS Field Apps ensures that both field workers and office staff use the same authoritative data, which reduces errors, boosts your productivity, and saves money ultimately. So one of our field apps is ArcGIS Survey 123. It's a complete form-centric solution for creating, sharing, and analyzing surveys. You can use it to create smart forms with conditional statements and skip logic, default answers, or on-the-fly calculations. You can also collect data through the web on mobile devices or even disconnected from the internet. And it syncs back up when you get back connected to the web. You're also able to analyze your results quickly and update these data securely for future analysis. Another one of the field apps I want to highlight is ArcGIS Quick Capture. It's an app that's designed to support rapid data collection workflows, especially at-speed collections. With a single button press, field staff can quickly capture data with pre-configured data while on the move. So you could do this on foot, on a bike, or in a vehicle. And this collected data is synced to feature layers on ArcGIS Online or Enterprise, depending on your environment. So lastly, we also have field maps. If you're familiar with Collector, this is now Field Maps, and it looks very familiar. This is a new mobile application for map-centric workflows. With Field Maps, it combines key field operations, and these capabilities are in a single mobile application that's easy to use and simple to deploy. You can use this to explore maps you've made in ArcGIS collect and update authoritative data and record it where you've gone, all by turning on your location awareness through the mobile app. And field maps also includes a web application integrated with ArcGIS. So that's supported with administrative and back office workflows. So for example, you can use web apps to configure and deploy maps optimized for your mobile workforce. And you can create and assign tasks to mobile workers and share views of worker locations to kind of keep track of that. And so part of what these mobile applications are so powerful is that you're able to take them offline. So you can download information to your device and continue collecting and modifying that data, and then it syncs back up. So once you've collected it and published it, you can utilize it in Pro as well. And you can use it in various different applications on the ArcGIS system as well, too. And so John has a great example of this that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. But first, I want to talk about some of the apps that are on ArcGIS Online Enterprise. So one of these applications is Instant Apps, and it's the fastest way to go from your web map you create to an application. It's purpose-driven for specific workflows and has focused interaction to get straight to the point of your work. Like when you open the application, that is the main reason for the app, and you can see that answer right there. So there's a common set of tools such as navigation, web analytics, and search. And it's also optimized for use on any of your devices. So it's also able to work with accessible technology. So another application that's really common is dashboards, and it lets you get information at a high level. It's actually one of our most popular apps, and it's been widely used over the time it started. And it's interactive and has dynamic results linked through elements you kind of create, which encourages the user to explore through this information, and you can click on certain items and it updates based on the current map extent. And it's configurable to meet the needs of whatever data you're wanting to display. So it's easily adaptable to different audiences, events, and situations. It also has intuitive data visualizations. So it has map elements, lists, charts, and gauges to kind of keep track of whatever data you're looking at. Now, through ArcGIS story maps, stories are able to be told and really resonate with the audience through digital storytelling. It can include videos, photos, maps, and more. And you can incorporate existing maps and data, or generate that quick map if you have a time crunch with the Express map. And maps can really help bring that story together and help visualize that. And we also have a modern design that allows for a sleek look that really catches people's attention. And you're able to configure different components that best matches the theme of what story you're trying to tell. And it also, there's reporting on public usage available as well, which lets you see who's interacting with this information and kind of get demographic data on that sort of thing. And the last application I want to talk about is Experience Builder, and that is an app that is truly built by you. There's a ton of customization you can do. And you can start from scratch, or you can choose many of the available templates to kind of start off if you're not sure where to go. But you basically maintain full control and customization on that. And it supports a variety of different content, such as videos, photos, and maps. And this can be even 2D or 3D data. There's also a very modern interface, and it is design and deploy responsive. So these apps can be on any device and be able to view it properly. So now I'll hand it over to John to see his reasons on why using WebGIS is really helpful, and also demonstrate his experience builder he built.
Thank you, Katie. Hey everyone, my name is John Cepeda. I'm a technical consultant at Esri, and I'm going to be talking about why to use GIS, and more importantly, WebGIS, and I'll have a little demo as well, just about the application of it. So why use WebGIS? One of the main concerns about using the WebGIS interface is always data security. As Katie mentioned, there are a few reasons why the data is a little more secure with our product. One of the main things we can do is actually go back to versions previously to make sure data isn't deleted. Say you have in-house institutional knowledge. It's one of the big things with tribes. Somebody knows all the data. When they leave, that data goes with them. Here, when you put your data in there, you can set parameters to make sure it's not deleted, restrict access to only certain groups or departments, and even require users to use a VPN to log into your content. So that no one can really get near your data unless they meet all of these requirements. So if data security is one of your concerns, you can rest assured that the data will be secure. Another reason to use WebGIS is getting access to authoritative public data layers. So through the Living Atlas from Esri, you can bring in data from, like, say, current wildfires throughout the United States, weather data from NOAA, and even data from the Public Land Survey System, which can help you manage your parcel data or your lot data. Through WebGIS, you can also display data in a manner that's easy to understand. Using web applications such as dashboards, Experience Builder, or even Survey123 will allow your organization to visualize the data and make it simple and kind of easy to understand. When we're working with a bunch of complex data, it's easy to throw everything on there and then make it super complicated. We can configure apps to make that just a little more simple. Lastly, data can be shared quickly and easily with other departments or users through WebGIS. Through view layers, we can restrict what people see within the database layer. Take addressing, for example. You can have the same layer shared across your organization, but have some people see different information that's only relevant to them. The realty department might have information on when the address was created, what allotment or lot it's on, or assignment, any notes on when it was last updated, and someone like the tribal police, if you have that, can have access to the same layer but would only see the address location and the full address. All the other information would be viewable only by that realty department. So you're not only sharing your layer, making it available across your organization, but you're also restricting it and making that confidential information really secure. So WebGIS provides security. It's easy to access authoritative data layers, enables you to display important information in an easy to understand manner, and allows you to share the data with who you want to share it with. It also lets you restrict the level of access based on the users and based on their needs. Not everyone needs all that information. Someone just might need to know where that address is. So a little bit about the background of the application we'll be seeing right now in this demo. Kind of with all that in mind, I'm going to go over a few of the components and tools for the demo. You'll be seeing a number of things on this demo, starting with the web map with a few layers on it. We have some demo data from the Esri Redlands campus, just basic parcel, replicating monuments on that campus. We also have the Public Land Survey System, or the PLSS, that we added from the Living Atlas, and a few of the lots and partitions so we can see how we can visualize realty data through Experience Builder. And this should make it easy to not only visualize the data, but really leverage some of these tools that make WebGIS and that self-service really just across the organization. So, give me 1 sec while I pull up that demo. And let me just refresh this as well. So here we have a land records viewer. So this is going to go ahead and mock up some of those workflows that we see in realty and how that data can be shared or accessed through either that department or other departments that you might be working with. So on the right-hand side, we have a few tools. We have a search option, basic layers. We also have a legend here. So we'll see the yellow points on here are going to replicate our monuments. Of course, the wetlands properties or in that parcel data is highlighted in blue. And then the public land survey system is also on this. Let me go ahead and zoom out so you can see it. And you can access this and bring this in through the Living Atlas. So if you're using WebGIS, a great little thing to pop in there. We also have our base maps. So sometimes you might want like an aerial view of which area you're working on. Other times you just might want to see the roads, the highways, things like that. Through this web application, you can just toggle on and off those layers or different base maps that you'd like to see. And instantly you get a better look at maybe some of the properties you're wanting to see. So all this would be available to you as a user without having to go through, let's say, a GIS department to actually make these for you. This application is kind of a self-service. Where do I find this parcel? Where do I find this address? And I'll kind of go over a few more functions here in a sec. Let me go ahead and switch back to my topo map. So the realty department might have a lot of information on a piece of parcel. The things that are cataloged can be everything from the acreage, the APN or the assessor parcel number, the owner, notes on the parcel. The list goes on and on, honestly, with realty data. But one of the things we can also look at is survey plots. So your surveyors go out and they survey a piece of property. That's either to partition it out or just to get the boundary, all right? Through this application, we can also put in that survey for that parcel. So every time there's a new update to the boundaries, we can catalog that so we can easily access it. You're not searching through records. It's all in one system. And if you need to bring it up, you can quickly search for it by the parcel and find the corresponding documents for it. Easily see the acreage, and then any notes that you have that are pertinent to your tribe can be put in here as well. It's also a great way to catalog monuments. So, like I said, these little points here are equivalent to our monuments for this demo. So here we have the parcel and then the corresponding monument. So we can start cataloging not only where these monuments are, but what they look like, so it's easier to find these in the future. And then another thing we might be wanting to do is visualize the partitions, because the partitions are separate than the parcels or the lots themselves. And we can do that as well here. So now we have our allotment information. You can go ahead and click on here. Again, we can restrict what information is on here. The realty department is the one using it. Of course, we can have more. It relates to the acreage. So this particular parcel now has 0.97 for acres, whereas the larger one, of course, had, let's see, I can turn it on. So at 0.97, these down here have 2.77. We can individually click on our partitions and get the acreage for those independent ones as well. So think of this not necessarily taking over any workflow for the realty department, but really enhancing them and visualizing them. Of course, the monuments, the partitions are always going to be referenced by the surveyor. The surveyors take the lead on that. The GIS department comes in and can visualize that data. Not necessarily stepping on anybody's toes, but making that information easily accessible and making sure it's correct. Another great little tool for this is we can also catalog addresses on here. On tribal reservations, getting addressing right is very difficult and tedious. Google Maps isn't always a great reflection of where your address is. So by cataloging your addresses on, say, an internal system for your internal staff or tribe, you can keep a record of where the addresses are on the actual reservation and quickly see that. These aren't necessarily tied to a geolocation on a map. These are latitude and longitude points that are capturing your full address and any relevant information that you might want to put on there. So we can click on the point. Here's the address for this section. We have a ton of information related to this address in particular. Like I said, this might be something that we restrict to someone that might need it. We can also use the same layer and make a view layer, and that view layer is essentially duplication of this data set with restricted access. So that might only get the latitude, the longitude, and the address. And that keeps your data up to date, but confidential, restricted, not sharing things that we don't need to with the rest of the department or just the tribal community in general. And one other thing I want to show on here is that we can also leverage something we like to call self-service applications. So sometimes you might just need a basic map of where this place is, where this address is located. And you might think it's pretty easy to just draw it on the map. So you can actually just do that with this application. You just draw it on there. You can add the units or the measurements of the acres that you're looking at. And then we might even just want to print this really quick as a quick reference. Hey, this is the area I'm looking at. And we can go ahead and give it a title, make it a little nicer. 516. And then go ahead and put in our author as well, who made it. And this can include your legend, your north arrow, and then as well as your scale bar. If you want to put that in miles or feet, etc. And then you can go ahead and click print, and hopefully if it likes me right now, it'll just print, because it's a live demo. But give it a second, it should pop up right here, and we'll get a PDF of this map. This is great for referencing just the location very quickly, not necessarily showing the acreage of a parcel or allotment, but say someone wants to know where some resources, it might be in this general area, or we might want to say we're adding a new address. This is the point where we need that address added. Just make the new address. So we have a map that we can share out to kind of give out our needs pretty quickly, efficiently, and this is something that you don't actually need to know all the back-end work of GIS to actually do. Rather than having to download a screenshot, put it into like Google Earth, and then do all that stuff, this is all with your updated data, one-stop shop, gets you through point A to B to make a map. And as you draw with this, mess around with it, you can also just clear it out. This isn't anything that's going to be permanent. Of course, quick reference maps. Another little tool is just the measure, which is kind of nice, just a quick measure of where some stuff might be. If you're ever curious, like to know, maybe we just need a quick estimate of how many feet are in this area. This will give you a quick general number that you can throw out. And then these can change from square feet to acres, etc. So just utilizing your data and kind of enhancing it for your departments. So some of the information that's on here is would be considered confidential. We don't necessarily want everyone to have access to all these data layers or even all that information on the addresses. So what we can do is there's another little application up here. It's called an address viewer. It's that same layer that we were looking at, but this only shows the address. Oh, and it does not want to come up. This one only shows the address X and Y, the latitude and longitude, and then the full address itself. So give me 1 sec while I try to fix that. Okay, so we have our land records viewer here, and then we have our address viewer here. You can zoom into an area, click on the point. We just see now the full address, the latitude and longitude for this place. And every time a new address gets updated to this data set, this one gets updated as well, keeping your data secured, confidential, and up to date. There's no more searching for the newest layer for your addresses. It's always here. And this is something you can share not with just one department, but maybe multiple departments that might need it. Restrict the access as you might want, etc. And then you can also just quickly search for the addresses. And again, this isn't actually using a geocoder, so not like Google Maps or Apple Maps where this address might not be on there. It might show up in the middle of the field somewhere for some reason. This one is using the correct latitude and longitude for your point because it's your own data. It's not referencing anything else, so it's always going to point to the right location. And then again, those same functions, even on this restricted data set, can be accessed where you can draw. And then print your map as you need to. So for anyone that wants to leverage WebGIS, this is safe to do, secured with your own data, lets you extend the capabilities. You don't necessarily have to wait for your GIS department or bog them down for just a quick map of an address that's near the street or to get those. You're really using their technology to make your job and their job easier. So just kind of to conclude, using WebGIS can make a lot of things a little easier. Lighten the load on your GIS department, but also give you access to the latest information that you have for your tribe or organizations. Limit the views that you want based on security or groups, and have fun mapping. I'm going to turn it over to Anne, who's going to go ahead and go over our geospatial strategy and the ELA agreement. There you go. All yours, Anne.
Thank you, John. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about what a geospatial strategy is and why it's a good idea to have one. We really encourage all our customers to have a geospatial strategy to help take their GIS program to the next level. Not only does it help organize and focus efforts of the GIS team, but a geospatial strategy will also help bring more visibility to your GIS program and hopefully get more buy-in from your leadership. So what is a geospatial strategy? Well, it is a business-oriented plan that defines how an organization will use GIS to advance its goals and desired outcomes. While a geospatial strategy is different from a strategic plan in content, it's really still the same in that it is aligned with your organization's desired goals and outcomes, but it's focused specifically on how GIS can help you achieve them. So why do you need a geospatial strategy? First of all, it helps you expand the use of GIS across not only your GIS team, but across your organization. And I'm just going to list out a few things here. I'm not going to go into this in full detail, but some key points are this specific one where it'll help you expand your GIS. Location data is an essential part of just about any organization, including tribal organizations, where GIS is currently used in road inventories, archaeological site management, economic development projects, analysis, and visualization of health information, and everything in between. The issue is that many organizations haven't actually formally organized how they collect, manage, or share their geospatial data. And then you get duplicated data, duplicated analysis, disconnected data sets, poor integration, and often these are results when a geospatial program maybe isn't considered to be a strong strategic asset. So having a structured approach will ensure that the expansion of GIS is done in a way to really establish effective governance and achieve the maximum impact for your organization. Another key point here of a strategy is it will help you identify how to overcome business challenges and unlock new sources of value. Basically, all organizations exist to create value for customers through quality products and services, or for their employees through satisfying work, for society through active citizen involvement. It's all about value. And location intelligence, which essentially is the product of a geospatial strategy, empowers organizations to look at value creation in a different light. They can discover new routes to value by considering where. When equipped with location intelligence, organizations can flip the conventional business problems on their head by reframing them as problems of location. The next one we have here is it helps provide accountability. A lot of time, organizations, especially those with individual departments have many goals and items to consider. It can be difficult prioritizing all those items, let alone making sure that the goals don't slip through the cracks. By having a laid out plan with prioritized actions, a roadmap, and a defined future state that you want to get to, it makes it much easier to track the progress and celebrate successes along the way. And then the last one we've got here, having a geospatial strategy also helps reinforce the need for continued investment. For both investment of time and money, this is a topic of great interest to most leadership. The plan helps address the big question of why should we invest in GIS? A calculated plan that demonstrates the value of propositions to stakeholders is key, and it will have a much larger impact on the organization in alignment with the overarching strategic plan. So, as well as sort of why, here are some key considerations on how to develop a strategic geospatial plan or geospatial strategy. First of all, the first circle here, and probably the most important, is that you need to understand your organization's business needs and challenges. This is the what that we're trying to address and achieve with the strategy. The second circle, patterns of use and information products, this is the how. How are you currently operating? And what are you using in key workflows right now? What are some of the key business products? And then connect it back to the first circle, thinking about what are some of the patterns that you're seeing, the same challenges that repeat over and over again. And then the third circle, technology, thinking about how you are currently operating, understand what the key technology products are being used in those workflows. Are there new opportunities for solutions? And what do we need to technologically overcome challenges and make our goals more achievable? So within Esri, we have a whole process that we go through to help our customers create geospatial strategies. And we've boiled it down to these three: understand, plan, act, and then the fourth, just to go back and revisit the plan. We have this whole process that we can help you out with, and if anybody wants to discuss this in more detail, feel free to come by our booth. We're happy to talk to you about it. And then this is just an example of a one-page strategic plan that we've done. It's basically a generic one, but it gives you an idea of what one looks like, and this one is spread across several different years. So, again, if interested, please let us know, stop by. We're eager to talk about it with anybody and really encourage it for those who are new to GIS and even those who have an established GIS program. So next, I'll talk about our enterprise agreement. with the Department of Interior. Essentially, the first enterprise agreement with the Department of Interior and Esri was established in 2003. The DOI contracting officer is really the one who does all the governance and provisioning of the software to the bureaus. And the federally recognized tribes have been included in the enterprise agreement since 2003, the first one. And they can go to the BIA's Branch of Geospatial Support to find out how to get software. They also provide training, as many of you probably know, and technical support. So just to break it down pretty easily, what is in the enterprise agreement, or what is the enterprise agreement? So it's a way to streamline getting software within the Department of Interior. So it covers all the different bureaus. It's based on our GSA schedule, and it covers all of DOI, again, federally recognized tribes, and the current one expires in January of 2025, sorry. What's in it? So we have our desktop software is included in it, so what Katie talked about, ArcPro is included in it, Enterprise is also included in it, as well as many of the different extensions that are included in desktop and in Portal and Enterprise. There is some limited number of Enterprise Creator licenses, which if you have questions around that, give us a chat, come by the booth. As I said, includes most of the extensions, the developer APIs, technical support, and then there are discounts that are associated with the GSA schedule, and they're discounts off of the GSA price. What's not included in it? Things like ArcGIS Online. And while ArcGIS Online is not included in it, tribes get a really good deal when purchasing ArcGIS Online. There are also other ways to use ArcGIS Online at no cost to kind of get your feet wet. The Tribal GIS group has a no-cost entry into ArcGIS Online if you're interested. ArcGIS Indoors is not included. Image Analyst, Utility Network, GeoEvent Server, those are just some of the few examples. If anybody knows anything about GSA schedules, essentially all the Category A products are included in the enterprise agreement. Category B products come at a discount, and Category C products are straight GSA pricing. And I think that's about it. I did want to let you know some of the things that we're doing this year. We will be coming out with our next Story Map Challenge. I think the announcement will be made on Earth Day, which is like April 23rd, I think. The 2022 winners have been announced. We had a great participation this year and changed around the judging of the story maps. So had a lot more people. We had a People's Choice Award, and then also we had a set of judges that judged the like the top award. So if you haven't seen those yet, you can search on Esri Tribal Story Map Challenge and find out who won this year. We have our International User Conference coming up in July, and we are giving out complimentary passes to tribes if anyone's interested. Again, come by the booth, grab my email, and we can set you up with a pass for registration. On Wednesday of the conference, we will be having a Native Nations keynote. It's going to be held in the Hilton Bayfront Hotel. There will be, that takes place in the morning. In the afternoon, there'll be our tribal user session presentation. There'll be 2 sessions, so basically 4 user presentations by tribes. And I think that's about it. I can't think of any other major events coming up other than those. Okay, and to close it off today, we're going to talk a little bit more about resources, just in case you were wondering how to get more information on what's been discussed today. We have a training website that's here. We also have a really great resource, Esri Learn Lessons, where we take workflows, specific workflows, and show you how to do those in ArcPro, or even creating dashboards and that sort of thing. Contacts, you can contact myself, Katie, and then we have a training consultant, Justin Ogden, who can help you put together a training plan. He can also help you learn more about the BIA's training, as he helps them coordinate that as well as any kind of, a lot of times tribes will have training class done on site if they'd like, if they've got enough people who are interested. So Justin's happy to talk to you about that. And then, of course, the Branch of Geospatial Support, you can access them through the email there or their website, bia.gov/GIS. Questions?
Also offers a ton of free training too. So
Right.
on that last email right there of the BIA, there's tons of free email. Once you get on their email list, they send it out like quarterly. This is the training coming up, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and they have the schedule on that website also. Thanks, Shelley. Any other questions for any of us, actually? You can ask us, all three of us. It's probably a lot of information, a little overwhelming, but we're happy to chat if you've got any other questions or ideas. Sure.
And would you mind repeating the question?
Okay.
So everyone can hear. Thank you.
She's asking about mapping out grave sites and an old graveyard. Do you know actually where the graves are?
Most of them, but some of them are unmarked, and you no longer know, but we know they're there because, but there's no marking anymore.
Okay. We can definitely do that type of mapping. What we don't do is, like, we don't have ground penetrating radar capabilities. I mean, we're just a software company. We can interface with, the ground penetrating radar data. But there is a gentleman here from the Muckleshoot tribe. I don't know if he's here in the audience today. We've done a similar project with the Muckleshoot.
We did do a project like that last year. I was involved in it. This was very early when I was there. So our GIS administrator actually was the one who conducted that, but he went out with a GPS unit to each of the both marked and unmarked grave sites at two of our main cemeteries at Muckleshoot, and put together some ArcGIS products to share with Tribal Council and some other folks, and took pictures. I'm not sure exactly, I haven't looked at it for a while, but it can certainly be done.
Yeah, it was something that we had discussed was the ground penetrating radar to help us to actually find, we know they're there, but
Yeah.
it's unmarked, many of them, and we actually prevented any further grave site digging in that area because they did get an unmarked grave and unfortunately brought up some remains. So we don't want to do that anymore. We're done with that area. It's like there's too much going on there.
Sure, yeah, and I know that over time, the grave sites can move under the ground, yeah. But,
So a ground,
yeah, we have a,
radar, do you have to buy an expensive one, average?
that, that's a little beyond me. I wasn't involved in the purchase that our tribe got that 10, 15 years ago, but we did use a ground penetrating radar.
Well, it might be good to connect you with the Muckleshoot's GIS manager, which we can do. If you give me your information, and I can connect you with either, or Eric can,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, I can give you our information.
Because I know, right, they use GPR as well. And then, yeah, getting the data is a little complicated, but we could probably help make that happen. We've done it before. But absolutely, yeah, it'd probably be great to connect with Grant.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric.
Sure.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great conference.